Hi everybody, it's Phaser Friday again, and one more request from the comments was to talk about a zoomer fall or a zoom waterfall, right? And I love this one. I think it's really fun to use. And it's just like building the waterfall or the panner fall, so it's going to feel similar if you've already kind of mastered that, but we're taking a look at what it looks like with the attribute of zoom. So keep your comments going. Guys, they really keep me motivated, so I love the comments. Okay. Let's grab our spots gridded group and put them at full and zoom wide. Now, I always like to make sure that my first step is zoom at full. I just think it's easier to work with in the phaser editor. If you like it the opposite way, that's fine, but I'm always gonna start with zoom at full, and then I'll like flip the other attributes between wide and narrow, if I want it to go the opposite way. Okay, so it's at full, but just like with tilt or pan, I want it to go all the way on and off before it zooms back in. And I want to make sure that second step is really short. So I'm going to get down here in my encoder toolbar and hop on over to dimmer, make sure that I have it set to just be in step 2. We want to make that shorter. And we're going to go to phaser steps. At filters on, because I want this to affect zoom and dimmer. And so I'm going to just make this a bit smaller here. Now, almost forgot, I do need to go lock measure on, and I'm going to lock measure on at 2. So now measure is locked on at 2 for both the dimmer and the zoom. Okay, so now that I have that second step a lot shorter, I want to make sure that the light turns all the way on and off before it zooms back in, or else it's just a mess we have on stage right now. So let's go back into here. We're going to go into step 1, and I'm going to change the width of step 1, but I want it to only affect this. So we're going to say single. And now I can see I'm moving the width of step 1 lower. So I need this to be less than this where the zoom changes. So that's good. That's a really good spot for it. And then in step 2, I'm going to hop on over and change the transition of dimmer so that it transitions. Oh, there we go. Didn't want to roll for a second there. Okay. So that it transitions off before it zooms out. So if I want that transition to be snappier, I would make this width more of what I have it. If I want that transition to be a little like fade a bit more, I'm actually going to have to pop back into width, make the width just so I have a little more room for the transition to take that time to fade out. So now I have a gentle fade on and out as it zooms all the way out. Turn sync on and off. Let's get that back in sync. Perfect. And then this would be my zoomer fall, right? So then I'm going to go ahead and store this to my template phasers. So where's that? And scroll all the way past all the colors because there's so many in here. And then we'll store this universally. And then if I want to switch it, I do this a lot where I'll pop in here, and now that I've decided that I like dimmer the way it is, let me just on the dimmer to reactivate it. And then we'll go back into zoom here and we'll just switch the zoom attributes. So instead of it being narrow in the first step, or sorry, narrow in the second step, it's going to be narrow in the first step. And then the second step, it'll be wide. And so now it's just going in that opposite direction. And I will just store this as my other phaser. Super. Now I can grab my lights, put them at full, maybe put them in the straight front. And now they can be in this phaser here. And we can set it to be the look we want for our show. And there we go. Now we have a nice little random zoom on off to add that little bit of movement without having to be pan, tilt, or dimmer movement. All right, see you guys next week.